Welcome to South Harmon. Welcome to South Harmon. Hey, welcome to South Harmon. It's not an AMA. Short recap about the games. This is a play-by-play. No Instagram, these holograms. Boy, these ain't the same. This South Harmon, you know we do things a different way. We got in the room, come join the team, but don't be in the way. Stay tuned, join that Patreon. We do giveaways. Magnetic and ATM, you know they on a different wave. Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, pick a day. This South Harmon, you know that we glad you here today. This not an AMA. This not an AMA. This not an AMA. Short recap about the games. This is the play-by-play.
Yeah, money moves.
Money moves. We all kinds of fucked up today. We all kinds of fucked up. I love it.
It's not fucked up. It's vibing, baby. What's going on, Mike? Mike is listen. I've been waiting for this moment to ask you about these Oakleys from the second we got on beforehand.
I love them, man. I love them. Had to get them, man. As soon as I saw that they were Eagles green, you know, the little Oakley logo on the side, front, done. I'm like John Cena, man. Speaking of that Vince McMahon fucking documentary on Netflix, that's some wild ass shit, bro.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh my god. All right. Speaking of John Cena. All right, Adam, week 4 in the books.
Week 4 is in the books.
3 games left.
I'm just going to tell you, like, how far you've come, buddy. Like, the setup you have now, I can actually, before you told me that, I can see the greenish hue on those lenses. I mean, that's insane. Not to mention you got the Miami Vice colors going on. Mike will be in Iowa just living like he's in Florida, you know.
Well, it doesn't take much to be king shit of Iowa. Just
well, that's fair.
It's like Caleb Johnson, you know, 50 feet of shit, and then me. That's kind of where we're at.
What's late, Ben? Talk to me. I don't think I understand this terminology. Late?
You understand late. You don't understand early.
Late. If you're always late, I mean, someone else will call it late, but for you don't. It's not late.
That's true.
It is what it be. You know. Speaking of which, Mike, one thing that you already know about how I'm at, and this is the thing. I'm gonna make you do it again. I want to know where you at. We'll start with.
Where am I at?
Yeah, where you at with Deshaun?
Dude, should have had a fucking bigger game. But the refs literally fucked him hard.
True. But there's also, Mike, I think there's a commonality there. While not the refs, okay? The Zebras are normally not the problem. There's a commonality there weekly for me. It's he should have had a bigger game. Now, go ahead. Actually, let me let you talk first.
Down offensive lineman again. They couldn't run the ball for shit. I mean, Jerome Ford broke off a big run to the end of the game there.
Yeah,
a big run, but they couldn't do shit. Deshaun Watson was the leading rusher up until that point. They lost their fucking center again. Like, what do you want this fucking guy to do? Like, we expect him to be Superman, and this is coming from an Eagles fan who was down, you know, a shit ton of fucking players, and it looked abysmal. This kind of shit's gonna happen, man. I'm excited to see what Deshaun Watson can do when he's got a fully healthy. And if he shits the bed when he's got a fully healthy one, Adam, I'll let you come on here and be like, what do you think now, Mike? And I'll fucking tell you it's probably over then. But for now, the excuses are baked in. He balled his ass off. He should have won the fucking game. He should have had fucking 230 yards and 2 touchdowns instead of 176 and 1. Completion percentage was on point. Dude was scrambling for his life the whole fucking game. The only thing I will say the negative about Deshaun Watson is you would have liked to see him try to make a play there at the end. Like,
that's what I was going to say is, Mike, I mean, you asked my expectations.
Get rid of it. You got to.
You asked my expectations, and I will admit, as a Browns fan, like, it's inherently baked in. You talk about, like, if you think that I don't feel being late, Mike, do you know what I don't feel about expectations relative to NFL fans? Like, I have a relatively low bar just inherently as a fan. Like, what I do expect, though, is if we pay a quarterback the only quarterback in the NFL still that has a fully guaranteed contract. That
Fair.
We are at this point where you're telling me that maybe I'll find out down the road with ifs. Because here's the thing, I definitely agree with a lot of the narratives. The problem for Watson, while you could argue there's a lot of them, I'm not going to tell you how many, but Mike, here's the problem. I have eyes, other people have eyes, but all the excuses that we're seeing right now, for the most part, we saw this thing called Joe Flacco last year, and it didn't look the same. I mean, honestly, it just. Now, Watson can only do so much. He's one player on a team, but
yep.
if you're going to have one player on a team take all the criticism, all the reward, it's always going to be the quarterback. I don't know, Mike. I'm not going to act like he's the worst quarterback in the league, but I'm not going to act like he's far better than that right now. I mean, tell me what Watson right now is showing to you that's better than the median or regular another average quarterback out there right now that's starting.
Well, that's quarterbacks as a whole of all shit. Like fantasy points wise, you want to look at it. He didn't get credit for that touchdown, which he should have, but he's still going to outscore Justin Herbert, who was fucking terrible. Anthony Richardson obviously got hurt. Matt Stafford played like shit with no weapons too. This shit happens, man. He's still out here outperforming Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, with a fully healthy complement of weapons. So if you want to grade him on a curve, like he's still passing. You know what I mean? I know you don't want to grade him on a curve because it's Cleveland.
I do actually. I do. I want to know that this isn't totally broken. And here's the thing, Mike. Can I tell you how much I do want to grade him on a curve? When I read this, see, my eyes just randomly saw that he is not garbage. I read that as he is not garbage first. And oh, yeah, that's exactly what that says. He's hot garbage. Amari Cooper. And we can move on from the Browns. Get this out of the way early. You know?
Robbed again. And the one interception that Deshaun Watson got credited for throwing was all Amari Cooper's fault. For
that one I was definitely going to – that's why I got him up. Mike, Amari Cooper, I think right now, though, on the NFL side is why fantasy he's going to continue to get volume. Like, on the NFL side, I don't think he's given our team what we were hoping for, buddy, personally.
Nope. I'm still going to defer judgment on this whole Browns team until I see him with, not third-string offensive tackles.
Sure.
How about that?
Well, I mean, Mike, can I tell you?
Name a fucking quarterback out there who doesn't.
How do you feel about 2025?
Maybe. You might have to wait that long.
On
a plus note, that contract says he ain't going anywhere, so you'll be fine.
Well, I got news for you. That's true. Well, at the same time, if he was to go somewhere, we got a guy with a bunch of money that could handle the bill. It'd suck for our team. We don't want to see it. You don't want to see it either way. I guess we talk with you. You know what? We don't have to go same game because I don't talk about the Raiders. Also feels kind of
the only takeaway I have from the Raiders is Zamir White's shit. All right, Alexander Madden has outplayed him all fucking season.
Let me ask you, I'm curious your thoughts here on this because for me, I'm thinking about this like, okay, now while we're away, let's say, right? What they got no Devontae Adams, Mike.
Like, and Jacoby Myers was the alpha.
I see that out there. I'm like, okay, now fire Jacoby up in Dynasty and fantasy, but Mike, if we ain't gonna be able to beat the Raiders and score 16 points, dude, with Adams out there, with no Adams out there, I mean, I'm ready to. I'm ready to live in this fantasy land of holograms because this is a lot better than real life.
Chalk this up like Iowa, Minnesota in 2023. All right, it's not really an L. We'll put an asterisk next to it. Brown should have got the dub. Okay, like a Cooper DeJean fair catch. It was bullshit.
Anyone else in this game relevant for you in fantasy that we should talk about? I probably don't have many holograms on this.
Everybody thought Brock Bowers was going to smash. He did fuck all. Good block though.
No,
block. You don't get fantasy points for that though.
Yeah, I mean, look, like any elite tight end is going to have a down game. So,
especially when your quarterback's dog shit. Gardner Minshew should not be starting for the Raiders. It should be Hayden O'Connell.
Now, here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. This week was such a chaotic week, Mike. The one hologram I was locked in on making this week was going to be Trey Tucker. This kid I went to the same high school as him. Like, if you knew where I went to high school, to even think that there's a chance of that anyone played football there and went to the NFL, you're dreaming. So you're not wrong, Shane. I'll cue it up next week, and we'll do nothing probably. But thank you for that one.
Okay.
Let's move on to a different game, Mike. Which one do you want to talk about now? I'll let you call a shot here. You know?
Let's get the Philly one out of the way, man.
All right. I was kind of curious how you felt, but okay.
I'm gonna end on a nice note. So let's get the shitty ones out of the way. Yeah.
Okay. Jalen Hurts?
Got to do more, man. I expect more from him. I mean, fantasy points-wise, he's still going to be up there.
Can I give you the same treatment you gave me, though? Like, Mike, without A.J. Brown, without Devontae Smith.
Lane Johnson.
You
see their winning percentage without Lane Johnson in there is like 34%.
I mean, I got news. Lane is the key to the winning lane, buddy. I mean, it's
fantasy points wise, he's still going to be fine. And this is why when people try to come at me about, like when I say trade show, we talked about Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Listen, he's a mid pocket passer. Like that's what it is. Like he's a name at this point. Why do you like running quarterbacks, Mike? I'm all about completion percentage and fucking air yards or whatever the fuck that comment was. I don't give a fuck because in fantasy football, if you can run the football at the quarterback position, your floor is extremely high. Jalen Hurts played like shit today. From an NFL perspective, Adam, I want to see him do more, right? Like I understand there's all these dudes out. And I'm kind of with you on the Deshaun Watson thing. But like you tried to take this on
thank
Kelsey
you.
retiring.
Thank you.
More of a leadership role. Like I expect more from a NFL production standpoint. From fantasy, he was completely fine. Like he did about as best as you could fucking want from a fantasy perspective. But from an NFL perspective, I was disappointed. I was disappointed with this whole fucking team too. Like just defense, just fucking don't give a shit. We ain't covered anybody. Baker, fucking Tampa Bay. They seem to have our number. Fuck. Jesus. This team is so frustrating, and then I got to look at fucking Nick Sirianni's dumbass face on the sideline the whole fucking game. Just infuriating, which is also why I'm a glass of vodka deep already. So it's tough. Adam, it's so bad you put yourself on mute. You ain't gonna take it off.
Well, because I was trying to tell you that he's an Ohio boy and to take it easy on him, but the reality is
fuck him.
There's a lot of dumb people from Ohio too. I'm not gonna say he is dumb, but I hear that you feel that way. And honestly, I don't know though. Like. Everything you kind of told me, like going into this situation, don't you have to temper expectations by quite a bit? Now, obviously, I think there's a different conversation with fantasy and the real life quarterback you were talking about. Like,
Fizz is going to do backflips about this one. Kellen Moore.
Oh.
In a game without A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson, you're like, all right, Saquon, you get 10 carries. This is it. The fuck?
Well, Mike.
Okay.
Mike, I mean, can I tell you how now? If you think. Like, do you realize, everyone out there, I don't normally tell you about my stuff outside of fantasy football because you want to know about fantasy. But here's the thing. I won a Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley won me a jersey bet, right? With a 65-yard touchdown. 59, Mike. 59 today.
He was right there again, wasn't
he? You son of a bitch. You know how much I love you. You do that to me? You get me all fired up to talk about the singular biggest blue ball that you could have right there, buddy. Nick sends me the screenshot of 59. Like, here, you didn't get 60, mug. Like, but how do you get? Well, there was one thing that was working on this team. Obviously, each week it was different with the pass catchers. Dallas Goedert, last week massive, but Saquon Barkley was and still is to me the motor of this offense. I personally believe right now.
The heartbeat, the soul. Whatever you want to call him. That's that dude. On the other side of the ball, so much for, like the super Bucky Irving breakout game. Rashad White was like, I'll do just as much as you do, Bucky, minus the touchdown.
Well, I think that unfortunately we're finding out pretty clearly that he's a cone as far as this whole Rashad White thing. However, I talked about snap shares with running backs on Money Moves today. Like, Bucky's got to find a way to get this coaching staff to let him on the field. Rashad White can be as doo-doo as doo-doo comes, Mike. But if he's out there playing a lot of the snaps, it's what happens, you know?
You know what we talked about last year? There's another running back kind of like this. Jaylen Warren.
Well, Jaylen Warren can't get any snaps today, buddy,
Yeah. Chris Godwin, just ho-hum.
Is this
Solid.
the let up game? If this is the let up game, I think you should be happy about Chris Godwin. You know,
it's a pretty good fucking floor, man. I want to say though, welcome back, Mike Evans, man. It was getting scary.
There you go.
It was getting scary for Mike Evans.
There you go.
Adam, I'm surprised you didn't come out with the creamsicle on today.
Well, Mike, believe me, I just got my Noah Fant jersey, so there's that. And I was gonna go do that, but Mike, if you had any idea, you may have just as good of an idea as where that jersey is in my house right now, frankly. So
that's fair.
We'll let the little orange glow happen. Mike Evans, though, Mike, I will say this. This right now, to me, is exactly what we kind of were talking about, where Evans still can have the blow-up weeks. Still will. But his floor is probably I really do believe you still got to temper his floor quite a bit. Chris Godwin, on the other hand, though, today, if this is a down game for Chris Godwin, how much should we have Chris Godwin ahead of Evans? While his boom is crazy, like you act like Godwin isn't smashing too at times. Like it's kind of nuts.
We should. I know it's names and they're on the same team now, but how we treated Mike Evans last year, throughout the season, where it was like if you're a contender, this dude's damn near a wide receiver 1 for you. So value him accordingly.
We just all that energy we move into the 14 instead of 13.
I feel like because it's Chris Godwin, he's old and we've seen him for a while, and whatever the shine has been worn off of Chris Godwin. Adam, I feel like he can be perennial weekly on your money moves.
No, you know what though? Here's the thing. I feel like while I have a bunch of shares and I would definitely still buy, like it also feels wrong to say to go. What I don't like doing is telling people to go buy the player that's absolutely destroying in production. Like it feels dirty. So maybe this week coming off of a cool week, if the market reflects that. Because Mike, what you just said it shows sometimes the lack of any type of sanity we have. Chris Godwin's 28, man. Like he's old. He's dead.
Yeah.
What are we? All right.
He looks good.
I agree. The Bucs. Do you care about anyone else outside these two guys? Though, honestly,
I mean, Baker went out and cooked again.
Yeah. You know what? Every single time we have this discussion, I don't have a Baker one made up. And you know what? At this point, I wasn't truly intentional now, but I think it's going to have to just stay intentional. Maybe. He's Mike. If right now you're the Cleveland Browns, forget all the money, forget all the trades. Just right now, you have the ability to swap quarterbacks. Talk not the financials, just you have the chance. How easily are you going to Baker Mayfield right now?
1,000% they do that.
How quickly are you jumping to that other? The grass is greener on the other side, isn't it?
Yep. What's
crazy is when you're in Cleveland, Mike, the grass is always greener on the other side. Baker's here, we got to get rid of him. Watson's here, we got to get Baker back.
Dude, how quickly if you're the Carolina Panthers would you want Baker Mayfield back?
I'm not sure though, because Andy Dalton. I mean,
no, he was mid as fuck today.
I mean, it's not for. I'm sorry for fantasy though, Mike. It wasn't actually.
Okay.
Now fine. I was gonna say though with the Andy Dalton thing, I think I'm gonna have to refuse. Can I tell you how bad the quarterback landscape really is, Mike? I'm refusing a lot of quarterbacks for holograms. It just feels like it's gonna clog up the system. But Mike, relative to this week. In Andy Dalton's, depending on what you're scoring for, Matt, he's quarterback 9 in this league I'm looking at right now. You just said how mid he is. That is, Mike, he actually outscored he was dead even with Jalen Hurts in this format. Buddy.
Yeah.
The reason I say that, because I agree with you. Okay, if you look at a guy like Malik Willis, obviously Malik Willis could not have looked any worse as a quarterback, maybe the worst quarterback I've ever seen in a game. So, Maybe Bryce in that situation was bad, but I don't know, man. It's interesting how even if Andy Dalton's mid today, how different the offense looks, I think, in general.
It looks more competent. Definitely does.
For sure.
Definitely does. He got Xavier Leggett a touchdown today. So I'll take that. Andy for your service.
XL, how about Adam Thielen missing time, right? Gave the Xavier Leggett more. I'm curious to see what a snap share comes in at actually this week. That was one thing I wanted to monitor.
10 fucking targets, man. Double-digit targets for Xavier Leggett.
I mean, even regardless of what the snap share is, he got absolutely peppered. So you got to love that. Speaking of being peppered,
me, You know, me and DB got massive erections just with all
I
the
know.
Xavier.
Loved it. I'm really gonna have to pay attention this early because I'm thinking both of you guys. Listen, I'll give you your craps if it's there. Yeah, I know how much you love when I say craps, but Mike, I'm also ready. Just know I'm ready to. While your back's turned, I'm yamming it. I'm yamming on you guys. Just waiting.
Let's go.
What about Deontay?
Hey, shout out to Andy Dalton. He has resurrected Deontay Johnson. So, thank you.
Deontay Johnson is, that's a good way to phrase it. But
resurrected from the grave, like the Undertaker.
The thing is, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, you're playing Cincy in Vegas, okay? So I don't know. Like, take that for what it is. Like 13 and 14 targets, like those 2-game pace is not just. It's back to plus what Deontay was, I believe. That's like he could fuck around and lead the NFL in targets from here on out, and that's including this young stud who they just throw it his way. So 14 and 13 targets is the game's prior with Bryce. That's a great point. 6-6. Bryce, there's one thing I promise to you is that Deontay Johnson is a technician, and you should just throw to him. He's gonna probably have a chance to be open, even if it's not breaking the yards for a first down. Like,
shout
crazy.
out Chuba Hubbard too for back-to-back weeks, man.
Chuba is Mike. I bought him for a third and a couple fourths.
Did you buy him way back when I did the video on him saying that you should buy
Mike? I did a video on him too. We've been locked up on this, and you know what? I already felt like I was buying him ahead of what I truly should in Dynasty, but
yeah,
I actually needed a spot start this week because I literally had only Pacheco and Barkley, and when Pacheco went down, it's like, all right, well, I don't like to do this, but let me get Chuba. Let me ask you now, with Chuba looking like this,
back on the week, top 5 on the week,
because you talk like that Chris Godwin conversation you have, Mike. Nobody cares about Chuba Hubbard. Nobody. Right? His dynasty value will be unfazed, unchanged, as if he lives on a place where you can't get any access to live people, like you're just on a remote island. So the question for me now is, I feel like the Jonathan Brooks hype and hysteria, because of the way that Chuba Hubbard's playing, the drum beat's about to start getting crazy, buddy. I'm talking just getting fucking nuts.
Sounds perfect, man. It's getting me ready to sell all my Jonathan Brooks. I love it.
Oh, do you know? Did you guys hear that? Mike's selling running backs. Mike, because here's the thing. As I say this, I just want you to think about this for a second, everybody. A running back who is still on the shelf in a market right now, which is as overreactionary towards what are you doing for me right now as you could be, is up and keep trade cut. Just
really.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Mike, come on, buddy. Running back 12. He's here. He's him.
Good Lord.
Mike, because here's the thing. If you see Chuba looking like that, do you know what Jonathan Brooks is going to do? Forget the fact that the dynasty value, Mike. His production is just going to go. Saquon who very soon. Saquon who very soon.
I get you. Just temper expectations.
See, Mike and I have this yin and yang thing going on. A lot of times, Mike's not quite as amped up for the show, and I feel like I have to just mess with him a little bit. You're so happy today, extremely happy today.
It was a good day.
It was a great day.
Yeah. You haven't got to the best part of the day yet.
Well, then tell me where to go.
All right, man.
Speak.
Washington Commanders. Jayden fucking Daniels.
Well, as if there was 3 teams.
Because I'm still going to keep doing it.
There was 3 teams that I had you pegged for, and I felt like this was the top one. He needs a blow up. He needs a fire. He needs a dynasty price check, actually. So on Money Moves today, I talked about how he went last 5 days in trades for just straight up picks, 2 first. Now, I know the quarterback market is what it is, but that seems like it's not real life. We saw on the trade show today, wasn't it 3? Or yesterday, sorry.
Yesterday. Yep.
Now, I'm curious for you, if you want to get more Jayden Daniels, which is just, I think that's, as much as you love him, and I know you're going to do it, it's just not for process ever. What are you at, like 60%? It was something stupid last I looked.
it is impossible for me to get more Jayden Daniels. Nobody's selling fucking Jayden Daniels.
Well,
Nobody.
no, that's what I was actually going to ask you though. If you were going to try, I hear you.
How
No, but
much more do you want me to?
Nobody's
fucking Patrick Mahomes.
No, that's the pivot. No, that's the pivot of the conversation exactly. If you talk about liquid first, most people don't want to sell a superstar in the making potentially for just liquid draft picks. However, Mike, the way you get Jayden Daniels is not to have the person feeling like they're selling him. It's to have them feel like, whoa,
too good to say no to.
Well, wait a minute now. I don't want to lose Jayden Daniels, but have you seen this Malik Neighbors kid? Have you? I'm asking. For you, what's your path to get to Jayden Daniels if you're trying to right now?
Patrick Mahomes in a first.
Oh.
A good first.
Oh.
That's the only realistic path at this point, right? Lamar Jackson and something.
Like, I was expecting you to say anything except that. Like, that is
fucking Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts in a second. Like, maybe that gets you. I don't even know if that gets you the fucking conversation, man. I don't.
All right. Jalen Hurts in a second?
I tell you 4 liquid first, and people will still laugh at you.
Well, that conversation is different because you're not getting back at least right now, what people think is a superstar.
Even if I told you it was locked in, guaranteed 101 for next year. Locked in 101. From the worst team in the fucking league.
It's still a different conversation. People want to watch right now the player on the field scoring fantasy points and catching the football and running with the football and throwing the football and winning games versus the Bengals to make them 0-3. That's the type of stuff they want to see. You know what? The patience, it wears very thin in Dynasty at the right time.
Josh Allen, straight up. There's your final answer.
All right. It is, we have... the entire show at this point could be completely cooked. That is amazing. But I will say, lean into it. Speaking of, let's just get anyone else on the screen.
This is the best part of this whole.
Is it happening?
Jayden Daniels thing, the fucking Terry McLaurin ride.
Is it happening,
boys?
Are you?
They figured out how to get the ball to Terry fucking McLaurin. He's been doing this, other than last week, without Terry McLaurin being even fucking relevant.
Why did I let you drive? I just talked about how happy you are. Look at this guy.
Fuck. Dude, I'm buying fucking Terry. I'm buying Terry for all my Jaden everywhere.
All right, Mike.
Stack that's going to win.
Like, I know that cup is empty or getting close, and it's probably been before, and I love the energy. But, look, Mike, he's wide receiver 18 in half PPR right now, I'm looking. Like,
perfect. Perfect. Get him while he's sleeping. Himothy McLaurin, Himothy Daniels.
F1, baby. F1. All right. Well, obviously, there's that. B-Rob?
Good. Continues. Shout out Matty Kiwoom. I hated B-Rob. We talked about this on the trade show yesterday.
Was there a more hated player for you coming into the rookie season ever than B-Rob? I think if you weren't there for those days, I don't think you'll ever be able to recapture the energy. This was a hated human being for Mike. Now granted, you were one up shortly after because he got shot. But before that, I think you were enemy number one. Honestly, public enemy.
Definitely.
But you come around now. Now you're in, right?
I'll buy Brian Robinson for a first. No question about it. Easy. Don't even think
really.
twice.
Okay.
Yep.
So let running back landscape. Brian Robinson. We already know about half these guys. Like, how is Jacobs still in front of him on Keep Trade Cut? What is this Jacobs thing? Can someone tell me?
I don't know. Emmanuel Wilson is trying to kill this man single-handedly these last 2 weeks. People still love Jacobs.
Mike, I know. Here's a question for you. All right, because I know you love Brian Robinson. All right, but I got news for you. There is a very decent chance we got creeping. We got creep fever. I think this might happen, buddy. This might happen. Standalone value or Brian Robinson Jr.?
Who are we talking about?
Standalone value. That would be one, Braylon Allen.
Oh, fuck, Brian Robinson. Jesus, this isn't even a question.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if I like your answer now because of what you just been saying earlier. I don't even know. Maybe
here you go. Jonathan Brooks or Brian Robinson. It's fucking Brian Robinson.
Yeah, but I'll tell you. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Mike. The best part is I think you can definitely make a trade like that for Jonathan Brooks and get a plus too. Here, you want running back 12? I'll take the old crusty Brian Robinson right now, though. I will be honest. It's only 4 weeks, so we have to see how it shakes out over a longer period. But I didn't expect this many fantasy relevant players out of this team. I definitely thought Jayden Daniels would be a nice fantasy asset, but I wasn't.
Cooking.
I was not sure at all. I was not sure, and I was getting scared if we were gonna have like other people get fed too. You know.
You know what they say?
Tell me.
It's truth. The rising tide raises all ships, baby. The rising tide raises all ships. You're welcome.
I mean,
I will literally go out there. I don't know if this gets done, but this is a smash. It's a smash of all smashes. Try it. See
Chris knows. Chris knows.
Travis Etienne straight up for Brian Robinson. Give me B-Rob every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean,
if you could still get that done, fucking try it. Just try it. It's a shot in the dark. Might get fucking declined. There's ETN like deep throwers out there.
You could send far worse. I get on the daily basis, Mike, far more egregious and worse offers than that. So go ahead, sure, fire it off. How high above him? Like, what's the difference in ETN and B-Rob for you?
I think you should actually be adding on to Brian Robinson. Like
I know. That's what I'm asking. How much for you?
Like if you were to, probably a second. You should probably send a second with your Travis Etienne to get Brian Robinson. I
mean, that's kind of crazy. The market is not reacting at all to what you believe. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I've been on the train of ETN's overpriced.
Other side of the ball, Kyler shit to bed again. And what? They go to Marv early and often.
Yeah.
And then they just forget he exists. I don't.
Well, I mean,
why?
Isn't he kind of, one of these guys that's a little easier to forget, right? You only drafted him at a certain point, right?
It's a fucking 7 targets for Michael Wilson. Why?
Well, yeah, actually, I should have just left that up. You know what? Here, this is Mike. Now, I think this is kind of like the. It's like a magic trick, right? Or like it's an illusion. Just because you see something doesn't mean that this is what we're gonna. It's deception.
He's like a shittier Alan Lazard.
I will say the players like this, which you were never bought in on the prospect, the way in which you can potentially give them a little bit of love and then just absolutely bury their soul the next week is just. It's something to behold, personally. Michael Wilson, though, I'll be honest, in best ball, if this is seriously what's going to be, like, I guess I was wrong a little bit about Michael Wilson. Holy crap, 7 targets?
Oh, man. Bunge Cord, 93. Just traded ETN and a 26 second for B-Rob and a 25 first. Talk about a winner right there.
Well, you don't need a bungee cord anymore. You can spend up, buddy. You're good.
Oh, that's what it is. Bungee cord. That sounds like a fucking idiot.
I got you, buddy. I got you. See, you didn't even have to acknowledge. Here you go.
God damn it. Hey, what?
There's your guy. Look at him.
What? Throwing the fucking football. Like,
who's the
offense coordinator? Like, who's the offense coordinator for Arizona? Anybody fucking know? Right offhand.
I was going to actually ask you real quick. This whole Fanatics thing going on, right?
Guy.
This whole Fanatics thing going on right now?
Is that what it is?
Are you familiar with this? The Fanatics
Yes.
deal? Mike, is it possible that there's someone in the organization that has, like, when I say stake, essentially, like, is an owner somewhere in this Fanatics brand? How does a guy get drafted this high?
No.
Mike, I don't know if you've seen there's another kid drafted in the first round, top 10, that's just they will throw to him no matter what happens.
Yes.
They will concuss him with targets.
Concuss him. They will barrage him. Yes. Drew Petzing. Who gives a fuck? Fuck this guy. Fire him.
To be honest with you, I know most of them, and I was so not even. I would have never even had a chance to guess it correctly, right?
If you play NCAA football, right, you can go to the
look at DB. Look at DB.
You can go to the
this guy's
player
a walking
tab
encyclopedia.
and just call plays, pick plays based on like who the primary player is on that.
Sure.
How is that not your whole fucking playbook? Like every play
no.
should be
You seen this about
Marvin
Rashi?
Harrison Jr. Oh, ACL? Like we've been.
I mean, I was hoping. I was just hoping for hope. I was holding out the hope of hope.
I get you.
But man,
This is what being
that's
part
tough.
This is what being part of the South Harmon Patreon's about, right? Like we were talking about this in the Savage chat, and Dr. B came in and gave us an update that sounded optimistic, and it probably sounded optimistic because Dr. B has a lot of rice shares.
Well, that's also why, Mike.
Here's the replay.
It could have been Dr. B that got me like holding out hope. It also could have been. I've been telling you about this, Mike. Listen. I don't know shit. I don't know shit about fuck. Okay, but the initials aren't the same for Dr. B.
I get you.
PT.
I get you. Yeah.
Love you. You know how much I love you, Dr. B. But why? Just let me down. Just let me die right there. It's like a 59-yard run, Mike, that just didn't go for 60.
I had a good feeling watching that slow-mo replay. That was an ACL if there ever was an ACL.
Okay, so then I think we just go. What is going to happen moving forward in this offense? Do you think? Is there how does that? I mean, I'm not going to act like. Listen, if someone does have a crystal ball, it would be Mike, though. So,
well, here's two things.
Oh no!
Welcome back, Travis Kelce.
You're calling
Welcome
it?
back,
Okay.
all that Xavier Worthy hype I had from Week 1.
Oh boy. Well,
it's a
to
sad
be fair
state
about
of
it,
it, though. But if you're not a Rasheed Rice owner, like you weren't relying on him to be your season, we got to get to the business at hand. Everybody who drafted Travis Kelce and has been petrified by what's happened is now like right back up.
Here's my question about it, because now with the amount of volume that was going to Mr. Rashee Rice, obviously there's serious narrative to be had on like where targets go now. My question to you is like,
Mr. Kelce.
Okay, that's what you got. All right. I just
Mr. Kelce. And
I think by default. That's where. I think by default, Mahomes will end up. But I know Rashee Rice is really good. I'm not trying to tell you that I don't believe in his talent. So anyone out there, don't hear what I'm not saying. Okay, but this is if it took this injury and then all of a sudden we start peppering like Kelce like back in the day, like that's kind of odd to me. Like I'm basically I'm saying to you is I don't think there was I don't really believe in a chemistry issue here. I'm wondering if Kelce's actually having a harder time getting open when Rashee Rice is obviously running wide open half the time, running out of that damn slot.
I think he was fine getting open. I think it's what I alluded to a little bit when I said the by Xavier Worthy thing, that with Travis Kelce, it kind of felt like, listen, this is a team that we know is going to be in the mix come playoff time. Obviously. I mean, you don't win back-to-back fucking Super Bowls without kind of being the favorite the next fucking year, right? I'll say this. I kind of felt like they were doing a little bit of NBA, or they would do a little bit of NBA load management with Travis Kelce, where they wouldn't make him the focal point. But
Sure.
Now you don't have a fucking choice. Like, that shit is out the fucking window. Like, if they want to get back to the playoffs, they want to win the division, they want the number 1 seed, Travis Kelce is going to have to get peppered with targets.
Now,
So that original plan of load management goes right out the fucking window. And I know they said all off season there won't be any load management, but man, I'm watching Jared Wiley out there in the first couple weeks. I'm watching fucking Noah Gray out there in the first couple weeks. Like, I'm watching all these turd burgers get targets, and it's like,
no, now you're confusing me. You mean to tell me you think they go up there and they're lying?
Yeah. Definitely, it was coach speak if there ever was coach speak. It was
the fucking tales they tell.
The
fucking tales they'll tell up there. Like, I feel like sometimes I at least have to say this to people that maybe don't. They force is part of what they have to do. Is part of contractually they have to go there and talk to the media. If you remember back in the day with Marshawn Lynch, he wanted so little to do with them. He would just. That's what you can do, literally, and that's what some of these people I believe do. Is they. I'm not going to say like directly lie. They just sabotage. They just answer the questions as vaguely and non-helpful as possible. I think there's absolutely a case where they were trying to do load management. But, Mike, here's the thing. Yep. The Chiefs right now are 4-0 because this one is weird. Like, think about this. The Chiefs right now last year, they went through a spell, realistically, where that offense was beside a shell of what it was ever before. They found a way with the same core to fucking win a Super Bowl. Like, my question now is, you got Pacheco here, you got Rashee Rice. You're talking while you can say what you want about the running back replaceable, especially with Mahomes. But like now you lose your top receiving weapon. Is there going to be a season for the Chiefs where it's just like, okay, the odds are stacked a little too far against you here?
No, because they have a guy who wears number 1.
Because 15? Oh, 1.
Number
wow.
1.
Holy crap. I thought we were over this, but I'm right back to reality. Let's go.
Number 1, man.
I thought you like sobered up on. I thought you sobered up with me for a second. I was like, okay, like, nope.
Back.
Hey, respect. Okay, let's talk about Xavier Worthy then, because you're telling me they're going to be funneled to Kelsey. So what are you actually telling me here?
I'm buying the shit out of Xavier Worthy. Rest of the season.
It's almost like all the guys you currently own. I want more.
Oh, shucks.
The problem with that is, like, I watched, especially some of these guys where you drafted them in rookie drafts. Like, you got most of the shares, and anyone that took them in the ranges that you did, these dudes ain't coming off of them light, buddy. Like, it's not happening.
Shucks. Xavier Worthy's about to be a real fucking problem. A real fucking problem.
Dude, I want to say this, too. Going into next week, we have our first weeks of buys. It is. We aren't even in October at all. It's already scary. It is scary hours, man. There are so many injuries happening, and there's significant ones, dude.
Big ones. Other side of the football, JK put up another dud, so the Koopa and I trade still looking like shit, even though Quentin Johnston did fuck all. So at least there's the update on that one. Lad McConkey had a day. Justin Herbert still has not. And I get it, he had a high ankle sprain. But listen, if there was a game script versus the fucking Chiefs, a tight game, especially when they got down where it was like, all right, we're going to see Justin Herbert over, 250 yards passing, and 179. 179. It's rough, man. Listen, if you can still get off Justin Herbert, fucking try, man, because I don't think Harbaugh's going anywhere. Roman ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Can I tell you?
This is the Chargers' offense.
Can I tell you why a lot of times you in the moments, like the individual comments and things about the players you say make sense. It's like you right now for context, like be patient with Deshaun Watson, but fucking we burn this Herbert, man. It's over. Get rid of his ass.
Can you get 2 firsts for Deshaun Watson?
I was gonna say to the credit is there is one that actually is worth some credit. The other one is like a bad debt that nobody wants, right?
It's a real bad debt, right? That's fucking Dogecoin or Shiba or whatever the fuck you want to say. The other one looks like Ethereum. But
here's the thing about it, though, right? Like we're talking. I'm at this point very clear. Like you either have the Konami code or you don't, and if you don't, like if I have you on my team, fine. I would try to sell, but like I'm not in the business of targeting or going after or paying any type of extras for pocket quarterbacks any longer. So
Ben Jammer brought up a good point too. I don't know where the fuck this nickname came from. Right, I heard it on the broadcast today. But who the fuck in the right mind nickname Quentin Johnston Q Money?
Q Money.
Fucking Q Money.
Can we get off the Chargers? The Chargers are kind of starting to make me a little bit sick, man. Because the thing is,
I'll say that
unless the fantasy assets,
Motor Singletary as a nickname more than I respect Q Money.
But unless like the Chargers are having a week where we actually have a bunch of people eating, like the way in which they're running the offense too, it's like, no, man. Like it's kind of like the disdain when they have a week like this. The disdain really grows. But what's your take on Lad McConkey here? At this point, like I think most receivers with his type of talent and this type of profile are gonna have weeks where they're like, okay, this guy can play. Now, I'm curious for you. Do you think this is a guy that's gonna have long-term, or for this season even, let's say, staying power as far as targets and having the upside to finish like this weekly?
You know I love Lad, but I'm shopping the shit out of him after this week.
All right, you beat me to the punch. So what, you are in on? You think this is a good time to try to sell if you have?
I think it's a perfect time. I think it's a perfect time. People look at the box score, they'll look at the fantasy points he gave, rookie, the whole thing. I have no real fucking. I want to sell most of this offense.
Okay.
Right?
All right. I mean,
I just do. I don't want any part of it.
What are we looking for? What are we trying to? Like if you're actually trying to sell him, like the theory, in theory, you're selling high, but what does that even mean?
Could you get Chris Godwin straight up for him after this week?
Like I know where your point is here, but I also feel like I do feel like there has to be bots involved with this fucking keep trade cut. Like a human being making that trade, I need to know where they get their lead paint chips from.
If you look at it in a lot of dynasty leagues, though, like if it's a rebuilding team who just happen to have Chris Godwin,
buddy, I know what you're saying. You ain't gotta tell me the story. I've seen it, but I feel like this one feels very You'd have to have when I say situational, like a very weird situational individual. Like
could I buy low on Brandon Ayuk?
That like something like that's a little different, right? That I think a guy that's currently destroying the field is, I feel like, a tougher pool. But
George Pickens, Zay Flowers, TJ
yeah,
Moore.
There you go.
Xavier Worthy, 1 for 1.
Well, there's
the thing.
You want to? We got fireworks. We'll see what happens. I don't know, man. That Rashee Rice injury, I don't even have him many shares, but that's like, dang, that's tough, bro.
It sucks. How about let's talk about another injury, the Colts.
Oh, well, I was just putting Cincy up, but okay, that's fine. Let's talk about the Colts.
We can talk about.
All right, let's do the whole, Cincy and Indianapolis are nearby. Let's do it. Let's talk Midwest.
Ho hum.
Yeah, I mean, well, Joe Burrow and Chase had the stacked touchdown, right?
Sure did, and that was pretty much all Chase.
And then
effort.
Well, for sure, Chase's.
That really shut up the people like, dude needs to stop fucking bitching about his contract and just play football. I think he did. T. Higgins look good. Look good. How about that?
There you go. With you.
D. Higgins look good. Jamar Chase went man mode. Joe Burrow still mid. Ta-da. It's almost like we just talked about this a day ago, Adam. Weird.
Well, you expect people to listen? I mean,
no, they don't. That's fine. Well, I think the most surprising one was Chase Brown. Chase Brown looked really good.
Yeah, I don't. I don't have that type of cash in here. Chase Brown.
No.
We don't carry that. We don't carry. Now, listen, I don't actually have a blow up for him, which is insane. But Nico Collins, Mike, Nico Collins right now is everything I've ever said. Let me just say everything I've ever said.
Jay, look at my eyes. Nico Collins, I'm fucking sorry. I'm sorry I ever doubted you.
I can't believe we're doing the exact same thing right now.
I was not aware of your game.
But Mike, I said this like a year and a half ago too.
All the Nico disrespect I've given, I fucked up. Okay, I take full ownership.
Fucked up.
This motherfucker's him. He is fucking good. This is like the second coming of Andre Johnson. How about helmet scouting right there? Oh my god. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I, since Mike already did it to Nico, I'll again. I apologize, buddy. I mean, like we had a podcast. I don't know if you remember this. It was 2 summers ago, 2 off seasons ago, getting ready to go into the 23 year, and we're talking about CJ Stroud not having weapons and whatnot. And I'm like, who's the wide receiver 1? He's like, Nico Collins. I dunked all over Nico Collins, and that was it was the last time in which I should have. Let me ask you. I feel like at this point you shouldn't be super surprised by a crazy production day. However, when you see something like this where it's high double-digit targets, converting at a very high rate for almost 200 yards and a touchdown, and it just I'll say it's like it was all so business-like.
Casual.
It was so business-like. It was just like I'm here.
This is what I do.
I'm here for my job. I'm checking in. This is what I do, and I'm gonna go out after I go crazy out here for 5 hours. I'm going home, and it's normal. Like that performance. A lot of times when you see guys get into this range, though, there's like a massive play, or you certainly like leave the game like, holy shit, that was just outrageous. You believe that catch he made? I'm not saying Nico didn't make some great catches, but there was no like individual play which boosted this up to fucking a new tier. This was just all work, real work.
Just putting in that work, man. Here's the real question. Keep trade cuts got him at wide receiver 7.
Why?
The only wide receivers above him: Amon-Ra, Chase, Harrison, CeeDee Lamb, Neighbors, Jefferson.
Well, obviously,
I was going to say one of those dudes.
I think the Rashi and Nico Collins discussion before today was a really interesting one. Honestly, it was a very good one. Now, I mean, because here's the thing, Mike. I think depends how you feel about AJ Brown, but I think right now Nico's kind of like in this tier potentially where, what do you do with him? Do you boost him into the elite guys, or do you leave him by himself? Because I don't think people are gonna like to hear it, but I don't know what you need still. What's missing here?
I'm gonna have a hard time putting him above Amon-Ra or Chase, who are like the next two on the hit list.
What is the difference realistically though right now, other than we've seen Amon-Ra obviously be him for longer? Like if you're telling me in a CJ Stroud-led offense that for 4 weeks in a row now, you're talking 8, I believe it's 8, 10, 10, 16. So he's over 10 targets a game right now in this offense. Like, buddy,
I don't think you're wrong.
I'm not telling you that it's wrong to say that you love Amon-Ra, but I'm saying, Nico, like, let me do it for you again. We need to go a little further. Nico, I'm sorry.
I don't think you're wrong.
Marv's in this tier because of his youth. Like, if Marv's in this tier because of his youth, Mike, I got news for you. Nico is 25 years old with a fresh bag and the real money bag throwing the ball to him. Like, that's, say whatever you want about CJ Stroud and fantasy and dynasty. That is a quarterback you love to have your wide receivers catching the ball from.
NFL-wise, he's good. Yeah. I think you could probably make the case for
I'm probably going to put him up.
Are you going to put him above Amon-Ra and Marv?
I'm gonna put him in the tier, and then I gotta have some mirror conversations. You know, like where are we? Are we doing this?
I'll say this: he deserves to be in that tier. He deserves to be in the same breath as those guys.
Well, the thing is,
we talk about Chase, how we talk about Amon-Ra, how we talk about Marv. He deserves to be in that tier.
I think that's a good point because I'm looking at this. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 83-62. Jefferson, all the way up to Jefferson's 99. But, like, the disparity gap, Nico's at 7K, which is, and especially with with Rashi going to fall down, like, there's a chance that freaking Nico Collins is in, like, his own little individually weird tier where I think, realistically, like, here's the thing about sometimes people get stuck on their priors and the draft capital. At a certain point with draft capital, all that stuff, doesn't it go out the window? To me, this is the alpha, clear as day, and has a bag. All the other stuff is noise.
I know we're live and watching this, but Derrick Henry, 1 carry, 87 yards
to the house. My guy, yes, dude. I'm in a massive game in the BDG League versus Gut where I need some points. Wake up and smell the coffee, baby, because when I get to New York Tuesday, buddy, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a good old time. Yeah, that's 14.7. Gut, how you feel?
You can take the rest of the night off, Derek, if you want.
No, please don't. I told Gut I need every inch of them guts.
Oh shit, Nico Collins, dope. CJ Stroud went out, played a very, very, very good game. Stephon Diggs was okay. Cam Akers, did what he could. How about on the other side, though? What I do want to talk about from the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence continues to just be meh. Like, very meh.
You're being nice, I feel.
The Travis Etienne Tank Bigsby discourse is going to get really fucking interesting here because Tank Bigsby, by all accounts, listen, watching the fucking games, I'm like, damn, why the fuck ain't they giving this dude more work?
Sure.
Travis Etienne looks like shit. Tank Bigsby looks really good.
Fair.
Looks really good. And even with Trevor Lawrence playing bad, Brian Thomas still continues to be that dude.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Well, Brian Thomas, these last few games, the target volume's coming his way. What about Christian Kirk also, too? I'm curious, both of these guys for you right
solid.
now.
Just solid. Christian Kirk's going to be a really good wide receiver 3 for your fantasy teams. Still continue, even with Trevor Lawrence being ass cheeks.
Yeah, Brian Thomas, I
Possibly until Evan Ingram gets back, then I think that probably does hurt Christian Kirk more than it hurts Brian Thomas.
Well, you know what? I'm actually kind of curious that's where I was going to go with this, because I think it's going to be interesting, because to your point, I get it in theory, because it's like these guys run the same stylistic routes. You got a slot receiver and a slot tight end realistically there, right?
Yep.
However, Mike, I'm starting to, especially with Lawrence, I'm getting less and less wanting to even watch it anymore. I think the thing is he tends to like just be conservative with these reads, and I think that's why, like right now in a game like this where you don't have Ingram, like Kirk, he's only going to do so much. So he's been forced these last 2 games with no Ingram, 9 and 8 targets. Now, if that stays when Ingram comes back, that would be a massive bone and huge boost, I think, for Brian Thomas on the production side. If he gets this type of volume for the rest of the season, I'll take the L on money moves, buddy. That's part of the thing for me, is I don't know that he's ready to come. I don't know that this offense is going to guarantee that he commands alpha level targets like that week in and week out with Ingram back.
I didn't think he was gonna command alpha level targets like right out the gate, but through 4 fucking weeks.
But he didn't with Ingram, I guess, is the question. So like now here's the thing: is Ingram going to be cooked when he gets back? We've seen Ingram play well, but also don't forget Ingram's a guy that has had a barrage of injury history too. So is he going to be the same player when he comes back, and how hurt is he?
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, the Jags, dude. Listen, here's my thing with I was just gonna say this about ETN. Like,
when's Doug Peterson get fired?
Well, okay. The thing with Tank Bigsby though was like, they kind of toy with it just to mess with you, and then like, I don't know if it's a Trevor Lawrence connection. Like they just won't quite. Just when you think that they're like, oh shit, like maybe they actually lean into this, like Tank gets no carries the next week. Like, what? To your point, I think it is actually very interesting. Now, I will say, just for the sake of time, we should probably be getting out. But I got to at least, Mike. I have got to.
We got a couple. I'll give some rapid fires here, man.
No, for sure. Well, I think, Mike, there's the thing. Enough people hate him.
We'll do it like Chris Berman, fastest 3 minutes.
Enough people hate him. And I was scared. But here's the thing. You know what I'm realizing with DeAndre Swift, buddy? You're not about to get any type of greatness from DeAndre Swift unless you personally get to that gut feeling where you get really fucking scared. You got to get Swift has to scare the shit out of you before he's about to go off every year.
That's fair,
dude. How scared? You cannot tell me. Last week felt like, for me, even as a guy who's been, trying to be a defender of him, Mike, I was ready. Like, okay, this ride I think is done. It's a wooden one. Can I get off now? That was scary last week.
You know how many people were fired up to Roshan Johnson this week for the 26 yards rushing that he got?
I know a guy that you say is 14 who 1-for-1 pivot in Roshan in, and he said he was excited at a point throughout the day, and then that for Swift may have been a mistake, But here's the thing with Swift though, like, do you feel confident enough after this blow-up game that – because I think with Swift, in general, he's a guy you have to kind of set it and forget it, because you're not going to be able to pencil when his really high games are coming anyway. So the reason I asked that, the first 3 weeks, while they were really gross, was actually pretty decent volume for how scared we were, if you think about this. I know that sounds crazy, but – he had 17 touches last week. Now, I understand why we're scared, but 17 followed by – he almost had 20 touches the week prior, and he had 11 in the week 1 versus Tennessee. So, do you just keep playing him, or what's your play with Swift? I don't think his market's going to change much today.
I think he's a perfect one of those RB2s for your team that's wide receiver and quarterback focused. Like, he gets me 4 points. Fuck. Come on, DeAndre, do a little better. But weeks like this, it's like, awesome. Like, I had a wide receiver 1 who just shit to bed. Perfect pick-me-up. So I'm probably still playing Swift. I benched him in the league this week, and it hurts.
T-Rock, you got to finish your green beans. You have not been dismissed.
He does what he wants. I'll rapid fire this so we can get out of here. The rest of the Bears, Caleb Williams, again, Adam,
Where
kind of
you at?
subpar.
Where you at? When we talk
shoulda
about
had
the
another
conversation,
touchdown.
Caleb and Jayden right now, there's clearly winners and
There's no
losers. I'm on the loser side right now, buddy. Bad.
There's no conversation. It's fucking Jayden Daniels for sure. But listen, Caleb might be approaching this buy low territory. I like some of the things I saw from him. It was not a great week from him. He should have had another touchdown. DJ Moore fucked him hard. DJ Moore just ran a route half-ass. If I've ever seen a route ran half-ass, it was DJ Moore this week. So fuck all the haters about, like, that was Caleb Williams' fault. No, it wasn't. It was not Caleb Williams' fault. It was a perfect ball. DJ Moore just shit the bed. Roma Dunze in the Shane Waldron offense. That is probably the one out of the Bears when I'm like, what the Again, Caleb.
Not quite
I don't
what
think
we
he gets a
thought.
blow
Huh?
up.
No, this was last. It was queued up from last week, and I almost
It's like a toilet blow up.
I have both of them, but the way you were talking about them, I'm like, yeah, let me just go ahead and lean into this craziness because after last week, you get in your feels, you get all excited, right? And this was absolutely, like, I'll be honest, I know myself well enough to know that my true gut feeling was like, I think we're getting ready to get a real turd burger in the drive-thru here. And while I knew that was coming, we're firing it up. I'm believing. He hurt me today in a handful of spots for sure.
I feel bad for Matt Stafford on the other side. No weapons.
Dude,
Kyron Williams still
so hard
continues to look good, man.
It is so
Blake
hard to
Corum
watch them too.
is MIA.
And then the Bears, the offense in general, like it's obviously. I think I shouldn't say that. I think there's better days ahead. I don't know if obviously I'll use, but like
Deep basketball leagues.
What?
Tutu Atwell has been a league winner for the last couple of weeks for you, and this week, Adam, my most owned dynasty player, Jordan Whittington.
Was he?
Whittington showed
No.
up. Yes. Jordan Whittington showed up
Really?
this week.
What are we talking here?
go.
You basically got him on every single waiver wire?
Dude, I had like 20-some fucking shares of Jordan Whittington because he was free off the
Really?
waiver wire, right? Yep. Or like a late fifth-round pick. 6 for 62. I'll take it, man. You know, for that kind of fucking DC that I invested in, which was nothing. Kyron Williams looks good though. I might be issuing a Kyron Williams apology real here. I'm still gonna resign to the fact that maybe by like week 12 it's the Blake Corum show, but this is looking glimmer every week, man.
He's obviously with what we've seen from McVay as far as how he's treated, and then his favorites have changed, but this Mike is not really up for debate. Obviously, this is because actually I'm actually curious your thoughts here. Now everything's subject to change in a moment's notice in football, but to me this is almost like if Kyron Williams was to sustain an injury, that this is like, okay, Blake, have your nice little time and use him in your lineup leagues. This is your shot, because when 23 comes back, we're loading up the little guy again. Like this usage is nuts. I thought even in the worst case scenario for Blake that he would be, with the draft capital he got and the profile and like the way he plays so similarly, in my opinion, as far as the way that they read and stuff, he's getting a handful of snaps. He is. This dude is not even an offensive like depth chart piece even. Like it's gross.
I don't know. Maybe he's fucking McVay's wife. That was always the joke with Cam Akers. So
loud.
He's just that road. Falcons Saints. Kirk Cousins looks like ass. Please play Michael Penix sooner rather than later.
I got bad news for you. I knew that there's a day like this was going to be coming. The problem is, Mike, you of all people know what you saw. That as much as I want to see the same thing that you do, that week bought him. That leash got a lot longer, you know.
It did. Bijan Robinson usage. Fuck this offense coordinator, Zach Robinson. I do remember this guy's name.
Well, Zach Robinson is Zach Robinson. Well, I'd say at least like you're going up against Arthur Smith in the past. Like, there's no way in which you can compete, and he's tempted to try.
Alvin Kamara, very, very solid. Chris Olave, solid. Rashid Shaheed continues the Scott Fishbowl dominance.
So here's my question to you about this whole Saints team. Like, to me, the weird part is, at least right now, I mean, obviously the first couple weeks they're just scoring every single play. It's unsustainable by miles. But they're all having, well, the ones we like, the ones that you should be caring about, the Alvin Kamara and Rashid Shaheed in particular, their floors are just like, dude, the floors are starting to get crazy too. Now, Chris Olave, I think I still would like to see I would like to see a Chris Olave week personally. Like, can I get a real Chris Olave week? Like, he just feasts.
Please.
I think that's what I want to see out of his offense. But say what you want about Derek Carr, and I get it. It's gross. I know, Fizzle, if you're here, you hate him. I don't even blame you. But this offense is I guess, competent is certainly fair to say.
Yep, competent it is. Vikings, Packers. Let's start with the Vikings. Holy shit.
Dude,
they almost pissed us away.
What is... Go ahead. Sorry.
And then pull it out their ass. Sam Darnold balling out of his fucking mind.
Yep.
Aaron Jones again solid. Justin Jefferson, we knows him. Welcome back, Jordan Addison. Like, dude, this offense now with Jordan Addison. Oh my god.
So Mike, as you know,
to see.
So Mike, not doing start sit, but I had a direct question this morning: Jordan Addison or Jawan with Debo back in the lineup? And Mike, my
Jordan Addison.
Yeah, my body was always telling me, my heart was always telling me, like, just Jordan Addison. But I'm like, I don't know, something's wrong about the situation, the off the field stuff. He came with his head on correct. I knew there was. It's not my team, so it's like, you know, my level of investment was low. Other than that, this dude cooked though. This dude cooked, and here's the thing: Sam Darnold, I think, is a very big conversation. This addition for Sam Darnold, who was already playing well, buddy.
Jordan Addison is probably always going to be this in this Minnesota offense, where he is very boom or bust.
He's extremely boom or bust. A wide receiver 2, 3 that has wide receiver 5 and a higher upside. Absolutely.
Listen, if the answer, the question is ever, do I start Jordan Addison or this guy in my wide receiver 2 or 3 spot? It's always going to be Jordan Addison.
Sure.
Like, now, I'm going to take the good with the bad.
I understand
but
that.
I started Brandon Cooks over him in a league this week, and I fucking hate myself with a passion.
But see, that's the thing. It's so easy right now after a Jordan Addison boom week to be like, dude, you sat Jordan Addison. Clown behavior.
Brandon Cooks is a boom or bust guy, but he doesn't boom like Jordan Addison.
But if you want to talk about boom, Juwan Jennings, I still believe when we look back at this season, that week last week is going to be the best season at the receiver position for the entire season. He was last year. I think we had 2 players get into 50s. The dude was at 46.5, bro. Now, obviously, you expect his usage to come down some, but I don't know. How do you bench a guy that just scored 50?
Quickly with the Packers, I mean, Sam Darnold's balling out of his mind. Fizz called this shit. Like, it might be a
okay. So I'm gonna ask you a question that people, in particular yourself, don't want to hear. JJ McCarthy, just asked the question.
Yeah, I'm still there. He's a starting quarterback for Minnesota in 2025.
My question is more so, you have him as an asset right now.
What about him?
For you, I'm pretty sure he's a absolute hold, if not buy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What because I'm starting to get curious about like something like that, where the current market for the quarterback position, like if you haven't started to see it, Malik Neighbors is in the range and about to pass Josh Allen. Okay, now Malik Neighbors is a different conversation than pretty much any other asset in Dynasty, but the point is, Josh Allen's one of the quarterbacks smashing. The quarterback position is just taking massive market dives. I'm curious about a guy that's not playing and in waiting, what the cost might be for acquisition. Like JJ McCarthy, I don't think necessarily has true Konami code, but if he's super, super cheap, like what does his price get to, I guess is my point. Like it could get dangerously low. People don't want to probably hold any quarterbacks in this market, let alone ones that aren't going to play till next year. And then they have enough in their visual of, he's not even certain to be the starter next year.
You might be able to buy him for a very late first, to be honest, as the season keeps going on.
I think right now you could probably. I think there's a strong case that you could absolutely right now.
There you go. Packers, Jordan Love, rusty as fuck to start. Came on like gangbusters at the end. Love to see it. Put up a monster fucking week.
Yeah, it was kind of like I was assuming he wasn't. I was assuming at the beginning. I didn't watch every play, but I had it on in the corner. I'm like, I'm assuming just while I'm watching, he wasn't like right yet. Like, dude, he turned it on though. That
turned it on.
He really did.
Josh Jacobs if I'm a Josh Jacobs owner, I'm shitting my pants. I'm very, very bullish.
You should have been.
I'm very bullish on a very, very cheap Emmanuel Wilson buy. If he's still on your waivers, he shouldn't be.
Chris,
if he's still sitting.
Wait a second here. I swore on Wednesday AMA this would never happen. The next time we had fucking recap. Wow.
Yeah.
That is impossible.
Emmanuel Wilson. Jayden Reed. My apologies, Jayden Reed. I loved you coming out. I loved you at times last year.
And I love you now.
Was not bullish enough, and I'm fucking back in. Jayden Reed is that dude. Christian Watson, tough injury. We'll have to see what happens with him. And this, I get to take one more victory lap on this show, fucking Adam. Did I fucking tell y'all that Tucker Kraft is the tight end to own in Green Bay, or did I fucking tell y'all that Tucker
you did.
Kraft is the tight end to own in Green Bay?
I want you to have your clout, but please don't act like I didn't have anything to say too. We were in lockstep on this.
You definitely did.
It was. I'll just say this.
We were like fucking.
Mike, he was.
That's too much Diddy.
Mike, I'm trying my best to let it. See, look, Jayden's even like, dude, chill out. I'm coming over that way. Shut up, man. Shut your ass up. You're doing too much. Tucker Kraft was going almost undrafted, 4th, 5th round. Sometimes would fall out of that. Musgrave was a second, and like, it was I remember very much. So it was a uncomfortable conversation. People were big mad, man, big mad. I actually don't hate Musgrave as a talent, but I do think that Tucker. We've always said Tucker, I think, is a better overall talent and a little more like athletic build. So I think the presence of Tucker Kraft, if that's going to be who he's competing with, was always going to be a problem for him. And that we saw as soon as he got hurt last year. Crazy thing is, last year, before he got hurt, Tucker Kraft was who? They were right. They were dead right, Mike. They had you pinned up, nothing. He wasn't getting any snaps. All of a sudden, he did well when the injury happened.
6 weeks for them.
And now that's true. But now Tucker Kraft, Mike, is every week it feels like nobody wants to have a conversation about it. Or clearly, I feel like he's never started in lineup leagues ever.
Colts, Steelers, Justin Fields, massive fucking blow up from Mr. Justin Fields. Love to see it. He's not giving this fucking
dude.
job R.I.P. Russell Wilson.
Bro, I had everything that could have went wrong with the Money Moves episode this week. For that not to drop before the game was just like, come on, man. Not that I didn't have the call, but it's like, I feel like if you watched that before and you had any interest to go by, that was maybe feels like now the cross has certainly changed a decent amount. I'm kind of curious though. Do you still think even after this week that there's enough naysayers? Like the naysayers on Fields in general seem to kind of. They get quiet, but they don't go away, you know?
I don't want to be that guy.
Yes, you do.
I'll be that guy.
Yes, you do.
There's a certain thing about certain quarterbacks out there, Adam, that causes an unnecessary amount of hate, and It has nothing to do with their talent or their play on the field. And that's dead ass, because I've seen it from many fucking people that are respecting the space. And I'm like, I know where this is coming from. I don't want to be that fucking guy, but I know why you don't like this particular quarterback, and it has nothing to do with their name, their school, has nothing to do with how they play on the fucking field. Yeah. So, yes.
That's fair. I mean, but, here's my thing. Like, there's certain things you just can't control, right? Like, it is what it is, and I don't try to – humans are going to be humans, man, unfortunately. But, like –
they are.
To me,
shitty.
Here's the thing, though. I said this. I'm kind of curious. What was his stats like as a passer today? For me, very clearly,
22 of 34, 1 touchdown, 312 yards, a quarterback rating of 104.
What's that percentage? Actually, it's like 60.
It's pretty fucking good.
I mean, like, because actually before today, he was in like the 70% range. Now, granted, here's the thing: but earlier, people I don't think necessarily that don't watch the games, right? Week 1. It was as obvious as that could possibly be to me that he was not very comfortable in this offense, and this was not the way that they are going to try to scheme around his best suited strengths, like
his athletic ability. Yep.
It was. You could just tell even like under center a couple times. It just didn't look. Everything looked weird week 1, and now every single week after that, I've watched him. I think the big thing about Pittsburgh and the culture is that, okay, when they start to right now they're not telling the media the reality, and that's just what they're not going to give him anything they don't have to give him. Like, to me, it very much looks like a guy that in Justin Fields who's been doubted, not necessarily had a lot of people buying into him as like the player, the investment into him. It feels like he has a little bit of like Tomlin green light, like go do your thing, young man. And he looked comfortable as hell the last week 2 and week 3. I didn't see as much of today, but all I didn't need to because I kept seeing it on my phone is touchdown. Like what I did see though is he in moments that were pretty big, he looked really good. He's looked poised too. So say what you want about him as a passer, I get all that, but there's a case to be made that the Bears organization that he was playing for, and right now with the Steelers team, that we're looking at similar offenses actually in the way that they play, and it's going to be good for him. But this team is leaps and bounds different than whatever the fuck he was playing in Chicago, dude. Sorry.
On the Colts side, Anthony Richardson, perfect for me as a guy who wants to buy into A-Rich. I know people hate him. They're going to jerk off Joe Flacco about coming in. It was a hip pointer. By all accounts, he's not going to miss very much time, if any, at all, with the hip pointer. And listen, his first 2 drives, he looked phenomenal. Looked like the A-Rich of week 1, not the A-Rich of the last couple weeks. Michael Pittman, people will be like, oh my God, he's back. And it's all because of Joe Flacco. Over half of Michael Pittman's receiving yards were because of that guy that's on the screen right there, Anthony Richardson. 2 absolute fucking dots, 32 and 28 yards. And then Jonathan Taylor, Adam, I kind of brought it up on the trade show. I brought it up on maybe AMA, but Jonathan Taylor deserves to be back in that RB1 overall conversation. Jonathan Taylor's running very, very mean.
Mike, I mean, and you may have every single stat and every single logical reason, but if you think that you're going to be able to change that narrative, I've got some oceanfront property in Idaho, buddy. Like people are sometimes when you're talking about earlier, sometimes people just want to believe what they want to believe. There's not information, real or not, that can change their mind. That's take lock, buddy, no matter what you give them. So I will say though,
2 more games and we'll bounce out of here.
Okay.
Quick and fast.
2 more games.
Right?
Jesus. Yep.
Well, Jets, Broncos, we don't got to spend much time on either side. It was a fucking shit show.
I was going to say, can't we skip that one at minimum?
Terrible.
That thing was
Rodgers looked terrible.
Garbage. Forget that one.
Braylon Allen didn't do shit. Breece Hall didn't do shit. Javonte Williams, I guess, 16 carries, 77 yards.
No.
Garrett Wilson, the panic is fucking real, man. I don't know what else to tell people. If you panicked on Garrett Wilson, you rightfully fucking so. You should be real.
It's been. I don't want to use the word that I've been panicking, but I have been. That like buildup of the panic is coming and it's onsetting, and I know that this is happening.
Last game, the only one we had a touchdown, 49ers, Patriots. Brock Purdy played pretty decent. Fantasy points wise, you're not going to be the most impressed. He did throw 1 bad pick. Outside of that, it was just kind of ho-hum. Completion percentage wasn't there this game, which was kind of weird considering he had all his weapons, but he was pushing the ball down the field. Juwan Jennings was like, watch this. I'm going to go like 45 yards at a time. Right? I'm not going to make a lot of catches this week, but I'm getting down the fucking field. Brandon Ayuk again got clamped up by Christian Gonzalez. I think that was pretty much expected. I will say this.
I'm more curious to hear. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Gets much better. Brandon Ayuk's schedule gets much better as far as the competition. He's so possible buy low there.
I'm more curious your thoughts on the other side of the ball.
Still doing this thing.
Because I really don't have much worry about the team like the Niners. Not saying that that people are worried, but like I expect this offense, unless they're playing in a truly elite defense, Mike, to just show up and fucking kind of just churn. Like now, I'm curious your thoughts are. I want to know what your takes are right now on the New England side of the ball, personally.
Ramondre looks rough, man, and he keeps fumbling the fucking football. And Antonio Gibson, as much as I love him, I'm trying to be unbiased here, Adam. He might be a fucking thing here, especially when Drake May gets in.
You sounded like you were going to go the other way there, and I was very surprised. And then I'm like, no.
No, we're back.
If Gibson has a 50-yard run, this is a Braylon Allen thing. Even if it never happens or is not going to happen, all it takes is one run, one play for the guy to be back. Mike, I think I personally, when I miss, I'm I cast a wide net. I said that whether you like it or not, this is after week 2. Ramondre Stevenson is kind of what the modern day bell cow looks like. And Mike, let me just tell you, Ramondre, I don't know you. I meant nothing personal to you, but just understand that jinx. It looks like it's real, buddy. Like this looks like it's affected him, dude. He looks like a different back the last 2 weeks completely. Now, granted, week 3 he had like no touches, and they just got fucking waxed in that game. But this looks not like good, Deontay buddy. Foreman. This looks not good. What?
He looks like Deontay Foreman. Please fucking start drinking.
Look like he was running in mud. He looked very slow. Like what is he? Is he on an injury?
Jacoby Brissett's a nice guy. You know.
Are you sure he is? I don't even know if he is.
Maybe, I don't know. He's somebody that you root for, but play the number 3 pick in the fucking draft, man.
Mike,
at this point, what are you wasting?
Mike, believe it or not, as a Browns fan, we've had a lot of quarterbacks. We had Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback until we were waiting on our supposed savior Prince, and did a decent job. But like you just know every time he's playing above average or above probably his capability, you're like, this isn't going to keep happening. This just isn't. It's not going to keep working out.
Adam, Derrick Henry receiving touchdown.
Mike, you know what I won't do? You know what I won't do? I'm not going to keep wasting good time. It's 9 o'clock. I'm not going to keep wasting any type of light, any type of energy on this rhinoceros because, Mike, can we do it?
Derrick Henry.
Let's do it. I'm with it.
That's not Derrick Henry. That's Zay.
Oh, it is.
There it is.
Zay was the normal one. Derrick Henry came blow this shit up. Buddy, you know what's crazy about Derrick Henry? I would be lying to you if I didn't say that I was a little bit concerned with just the splits, but like I think there was a lot to be I think there's a lot of kind of misplaced information about the way he was looking as far as being a runner. And I get it because he's older and you think he's going to break down. And that's certainly just normal conversation to have for any player. But like Derrick Henry, even when he was in more of his prime years, let's say, he always had more of a like upright style and had the chance to have those same type of runs. It's just by and large back then he was getting to and through holes quicker. The thing with Derrick Henry is now, as you're seeing, I haven't even seen any of these freaking plays. I cannot wait to go watch them at least in replay because they're going to win me a week, Mike. But when you have seen at least the last week in particular, when he gets through the holes, he actually is in space. Like he's not dead, guys. He's not dead. It's just the situation last year for the Titans was they weren't creating any holes for him, and this Ravens offense is not. The offensive line, I should say, is not quite the like juggernaut that it once was. You know, it doesn't always create the best lanes either.
I didn't think I was going to get one more victory lap before I got out of here, but Derrick Henry scored a receiving touchdown after an 87-yard touchdown run. I tried to tell fucking people that not every game was going to be versus Kansas City, and it was going to be the Ravens down and trying to play catch up. Because people wanted to be like, we make fucking Justice Hill.
Can I tell you?
Look at the splits.
Ooh, I hate
the useful touches.
I hate people.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't actually. I genuinely love people, but I think there's just certain people that ruin it for everyone. Mike, I just don't. I know. I understand all the narratives, the Braylon Allen thing. You don't have to tell me, Mike. You and I have been on him, watching him as a player since early days in college. Okay. Massively physically gifted, but what are we doing? What I need to understand, albeit the fact that Derrick Henry is over 30 and a running back, how in the fuck humans, like people that actually care and watch the sport in any capacity that aren't just real bots, when even if this guy's young and exciting, has the what most people would still call in the range, if not the clear RB1 of fantasy football dynasty, that team's clear running back. He's not going anywhere. He's above Derrick Henry, for God's sakes, dude. What is? I can't. I cannot even. How?
Let's put this into perspective too.
How?
The second quarter just started in that game. Derrick Henry is RB5.
Well, because but you know what though? I can tell you this is actually a perfect, little taste of your own medicine. Mike, the only thing Braylon Allen actually did, and I love him, and he had some highlight plays. He's had some pretty exciting to watch runs. He had 2 touchdowns. He was RB6. You're gonna look. We are going. I'm not we. You. I don't speak French. You are gonna look back, and be really upset unless there's an injury to Breece Hall, or you think that Breece Hall really isn't that guy. That's the path.
Don't panic on Breece Hall. If anybody's panicked on Breece Hall, go buy him.
Well, of course. I guess that's my point. Like, it's just Fugazi stuff. I know he's exciting to watch, but where is the? All right, I need to get out of here. This is just Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, though, while certainly there's going to be some games. There's going to be some game scripts. There's going to be some game scripts, though, Mike, where it's not great. But 2 weeks in a row now, you're starting to see that maybe we haven't even seen the ceiling for D. Henry, huh?
Maybe you haven't. You might see it tonight.
87. I don't know. 87 yards. Does anyone need to see anything else other than that?
No. I mean, Baltimore's up. They got the ball again. 14-3 in the second quarter.
31, 32. If someone is running a touchdown for 87 yards, they ain't cooked. And this is a guy that is the biggest player on the field that's not a lineman right now, okay? So stop it. All right. I love you. Cooked. I really, really do. I am cooked. If you knew what my day was like. And then, Mike, it's one of the things about this, though. You see this team? This is the Browns that people forget about, okay? I had to let people know that again today. This is the Browns that left. Like, it's not just that the Browns left. Do you understand how much the people just don't like Cleveland and want bad things to happen? Even if a team was to relocate, okay, and then you get your team back, how the fuck do you make that team now in the division and a supposed rival of them? Like, what kind of insanity do we live in this world where this is just normal behavior,
I feel for you, buddy.
Well, Derrick Henry is going to run all over us, and it's going to be so hard to watch unless I have a bunch of shares in fantasy, buddy. He's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad.
I feel for you. I see Fizz out here taking shots at my Eagles, rightfully so. We lost, but Adam, at least I could tell Fizz, the last time Dallas was relevant, I was 10 years old and had no hair on my balls. So go fuck yourself. Yeah,
last time they were relevant, I mean, I think they have a GM problem, but again, that's neither here nor there. Let's not take any more souls or snatch any bodies on their way out here.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
I don't even know what's happening in real life, but I'll tell you this much. I do know this. Anybody, if you are out there and you were you know who you are. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell Mike. If you were any person that clicked whatever the keep trade cut was ahead of Derrick Henry for Braylon Allen, you're welcome to be a patron here if you think that you're needing to get help. But honestly, it's okay if you don't. I don't necessarily want you. Like I'm okay. We can just agree that that's something we just have a differing of opinions. What? Not again.
I was gonna tell you. On my Dynasty shit too, by the way. My apologies.
I thought you had a Derrick. That's literally the expression you made for Derrick Henry touchdown. I'm like, there's no way.
I beat Eric's ass. Yesterday.
I could have called that, but did you at least let him down easy, or did you give him the full McNutted?
I did let him down easy because I did a lot of fourth down going for it, which was bad decisions.
Oh, so
But still taking them dubs. By the way, for people who are interested in that kind of thing, I'm going to try to stream more of these. I mean, we got a lot of conference games coming up. Eric was my first opponent, but we'll see who the number 2 is. I took down USC as Michigan this week, Adam. I know you don't like that because it's Michigan. Fuck Michigan.
I don't mind that because I definitely Michigan's the worst, but I'm kind of very anti-USC personally too. So it's
me too.
Someone's got to lose. Someone's got to lose.
I love these bitches being in the Big Ten. Fuck y'all.
There's
scum.
I'll be honest, it's pretty cool, but it's also still like there's a novelty to it. It's very weird still. Some of these new conferences. I get Cody. All of a sudden, he's big SEC. Look at this I get it, Cody. You're in there, but come on, man. You
Damn.
Were you gloating about the SEC for all this time? Stop it. I love you.
T-Rock just posted a trade too in the trade channel. That's
All right,
disgusting.
that's enough.
We'll get to that
I don't need to
next
see
Saturday.
it. That's enough for me to get out of here. I love you. I don't want to get sick in front of you, so we are out of here. We'll see you back here, same time, same place, to talk more Derrick Henry blow-up weeks because the haters are in shambles. Love you. Peace.